Okay, with that, we will convene the Selma City Council regular meeting, March 1st, 2021. It is 6:01 p.m. We are conducting this meeting in accordance with Governor Newsom's executive order of N 2920, which allows a local legislative body to hold public meetings via teleconferencing and to make public meetings accessible telephonically or otherwise electronically to all members of the public seeking to observe and to address the local legislative bodies. If you wish to call in, the teleconference phone number is 301-715-8592. The ID is 826-8314-1433, the password being 93662. When on the phone, if you wish to address council during the public comment portion of the agenda, press *9 to raise hand, and we will select you from the meeting queue. Press *6 to unmute and mute yourself. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Joe Alvarez of the Iglesia Antioquia. Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you, Mayor and City Councilman and woman. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for councilmen and councilwomen that participated this weekend and were at our pouring of concrete for the Selma Legacy Youth Center basketball court. Thank you guys very much. Your presence was very much appreciated, and I think it really sent out a statement to our community how much you guys are involved and how much you guys care. Once again, I'd like to recognize Councilman John Trujillo for the donation. Thank you very much, John. And with this, I'd like to just pray and give God the honor and the glory and give him control of this meeting. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, we just thank you this moment right now that we get to do your work, Heavenly Father. We ask you in the name of Jesus Christ to take over this meeting, God. Give us guidance, give everybody that's going to participate, Heavenly Father, wisdom, and give everybody, Heavenly Father, that compassion to respect each other, Heavenly Father. In the name of Jesus Christ, we thank you and we love you, and we love our city of Selma, Heavenly Father, and thank you for using us to make a difference. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Cho, you have the pledge.
Yes, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to which is republic, to one for all, and to God, I'm sorry, one to all, and justice for all. Okay.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Guerra.
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro.
Here.
Councilmember Trujillo.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho.
Here.
Mayor Robertson.
Here. Potential conflicts of interest. Any council member has potential conflict of interest may announce the item now and recuse themselves from discussing or voting on the matter. Oral communications. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council regarding any item over which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will take place on any item raised during oral communications. Items of interest will be referred to the city manager for further review. Speakers shall limit their comments to 3 minutes or less. City Clerk, do we have any oral communications tonight?
I do see we have some callers on the line. I want to remind all our callers, please use *9 to raise your virtual hand, and we will select you from the meeting queue. Also, as a reminder, please use *6 to unmute yourself. That being said, the 3 callers that we have on the line, does anyone have any council comments? Any comments for the city council? Forgive me. Mayor Robertson, none of the callers have raised their virtual hand at this time.
Okay, thank you for that. With that, we will start on our special presentations, with the first one being a microgrid feasibility study presentation by the Director of the Fresno County Rural Transit Authority, Moses Stites. Good evening, Moses, and welcome.
What I have for you today is this application that FCRTA, Fresno County Rural Transit Agency, submitted to the Department of Transportation, otherwise known as Caltrans, under the state sustainability planning grants. They come out annually, and FCRTA, being the only public transit agency in Fresno County, thought it would be a tremendous opportunity, not just for FCRTA, but also for our member agencies. Selma is one of our 14 member agencies, along with the other 13 cities in Fresno County. And we thought this was a very out of the box opportunity for all of us. Next slide, please. This service area map is the entire county that FCRTA serves. And as you can see here, and I've been here before, so I apologize for being repetitive, but we provide intra-city service to all the 13 incorporated cities, again, Selma being one of them, and we provide anywhere from 1 to 4 vehicles within each of these incorporated cities, general public transportation. We also provide intercity transportation. Some of you have seen our buses from the bus stops here, traveling through here, coming from Kingsburg, going to Fowler, going to the city of Fresno. And we provide those intercity connections as well. And this is very important because it's going to lead up to what this application is all about. Next slide, please. The Fresno County Distributed Resource Microgrid Feasibility Study. Essentially, we've applied for $455,000, Department of Transportation. And I know the slide is very small, so you really have to put on your reading glasses or a microscope. I apologize for that. However, a microgrid system is one that is self-contained, either using solar power, alternative power, and battery storage. And the idea behind this microgrid system is to do a feasibility study for all the rural cities so that we can independently look at each of the cities and also integrate some of the possibilities within the cities as well. And again, as I said earlier, not only would Fresno County Rural Transit Agency benefit from this grid study, a feasibility study, but also the individual cities. And Selma being one of them, we thought it was a great opportunity to at least apply for it. Next slide, please. Components of the study, it's going to be quite in-depth, and it's going to evaluate the energy resources like microgrids and other affordable charging model technologies for use in Fresno. I may add that we're currently doing an electric grid analysis for Fresno County right now that's being headed up by a national engineering firm. That should be completed within the next 10 months. And once it's completed, your staff is going to get a copy of it and hopefully come back and do a presentation on that as well. And how the microgrids would make the FCRTA transit system more efficient, we would provide more transit service and also electric car share, bike share possibilities. Analyze the demand for electric vehicles and zero emission vehicles. There are other zero emission vehicles such as hydrogen fuel cell and other technologies that's coming about. Obviously automated vehicles that are down the road, but not too far down the road. But also assess space requirements for generation and storage technologies. Develop a design energy load profile, full occupancy, and recommended vehicle charging infrastructure and technologies and operational. And if you would, just picture right now, vacant lots, excuse me, vacant lots within the city of Selma or any other city, and also in unincorporated communities. Picture a vacant lot, 2 to 4 acres, and picture solar panels on that vacant lot with battery storage systems to complement those solar panels, and electric charging units, maybe 2 to 4 level 1 or level 2 charging units for the general public, which would promote additional electric vehicles for your residents and residents of Fresno County. Fresno County has fewer electric vehicles that are registered through DMV than does larger urbanized areas. And then obviously we would have 1 or 2 chargers for FCRTA vehicles and or for municipal vehicles. I noticed coming in tonight to the meeting, I parked out here on the street, the one-way street, and I saw the solar charger across the street, and there was 1 vehicle plugged into that. So individuals are taking advantage of these solar chargers, and we believe the same concept would be taken to this microgrid system. And I'm sure there are vacant lots available out there. We would partner with the city and or private developers to transition these vacant lots and make them productive. They could be in undesirable areas. And I don't say that facetiously. I say that as a realistic possibility, because they could be opportunities for us. Possibility of entering into PPAs, public-private agreements with developers or private entities that could get the tax credits and the write-offs for the infrastructure, which would be less out of pocket for FCRTA and also for us applying for future funding. This, of course, is not going to be at any cost to any of the municipalities. We would enter into partnership, and just like we would any other project, FCRTA would be the primary applicant of these funding opportunities so that we could try to make them a reality. Next slide, please. Components of the study continue. There's going to be a cost benefit analysis of the recommended distributed energy resources compared to current energy system. We've got a letter of support from PG&E. We're working with them on this other grid analysis, electric grid analysis. So we believe that we will get some additional information so that we could even sell credits back to the utility company, which in this case is P. And we would also be able to maybe provide that benefit cost analysis, finance some of the mechanisms through the grant applications that we would apply on FCRTA's behalf. Obviously, the cities would also be able to use this information to apply for their own funding to expand the microgrid system above. Obviously, our priority is public transit, but we want to be inclusive of the cities and the residents within each of the cities so that it could benefit a lot more individuals other than just FCRTA. We think it's really a holistic approach. System and site plan for each of the sites selected. We've got a good relationship with all the municipalities, and we believe that putting an infrastructure would be pretty much seamless. Construction and maintenance cost of the recommended system, interconnection requirements and or constraints, educational curriculum and opportunities with the high school, with the junior colleges, and also connecting the facility with adjacent facilities to create one large microgrid per community. An example of that hypothetically could be a result of this is develop a micro power grid corridor along the Golden State Corridor for many reasons. And that would be from Kingsburg through Selma to Fowler into Fresno County, just outside of the city of Fresno. So there's a lot of possibilities that could result from this initial study. Implementation plan with cost savings, potential funding sources, and financing options, as I mentioned earlier about a PPA with private developers and or entities that could realize tax credits and also benefiting them as well, so that there would be a shared partnership on the infrastructure. And as I've mentioned throughout my presentation, the importance of the collaboration with the 13 cities in Fresno. Nothing is out there that we're aware of in the state of California, nor in the nation, especially with efforts on zero emission greenhouse gases and all the environmental directives from ARB, Department of Energy, and so forth. I want to call your attention to this slide. This slide is of a 35-foot bus, electric bus, with a battery range of about approximately 145 to 160 mile range. Right behind it, what looks like a big solar tree, like the solar arc you have across the street there, that's in Orange Cove. We just finished construction on that one. It was quite a project. And the panels on that solar arc or solar tree, I always get them confused. The arcs are across the street, 9 by 12 panels. These panels are 36 feet wide by 36 squared. It's about a 2-story solar tree, and it has the capacity of on-site battery storage to charge that big bus through on-site battery storage as well. All that energy that is absorbed through those panels is transferred into that bus. This is the type of technology that we're looking at. There's no other solar tree like this in Fresno County. The closest one is in Fremont, California, at a Cadillac dealership. And the other closest one is in San Diego at the naval base down there. They have 6 of them. So this is all new technology, and we're embracing it. It's very challenging, but we believe the opportunity's here, and we need to take advantage of that. Next slide, please. The need for the study. FCRTA really earmarking this effort because there's a lack of charging infrastructure in Fresno County. Through recent studies done by the FCOG, through a electric vehicle charging analysis that was just completed. Low income and high level of renters, reducing barriers to installing chargers. Greenhouse gas reduction targets, 10% by 2025 in Fresno region. Thank you. And these are mandates by the state of California. So there's a lot of other implications that really we're going to address through this study and as a result of our possible and potential funding opportunities as well. And these are mandates that are encumbered by the locals, and we have to provide solutions, and we believe that this is a part of that solution going forward. FCRTA faces barriers to updating electric fleet due to the charging infrastructure. We're already seeing that now with these buses and what the grid system has or allows for off-site improvements and also on-site, meaning on the property and off-site with the utility, or underground or overhead with a power source. Obviously, I can't emphasize this enough. We live in a non-attainment district, poor air quality, the need for reduction in emissions. You folks review and process planning documents either through EIRs, CEQA review, and part of the review is the air quality. We're no different. We have to also address that. Lack of access to transit, the need for more mobility options in rural areas. Disadvantaged communities are vulnerable to impacts from climate change and the need for a reliable source of power during emergencies and power outages. This was written well before the Texas disaster and shortly after all the fires that we've recently experienced. Fires in California. And we all know about the rolling blackouts, brownouts, all that affects us all. It affects first responders. It affects our charging units, unless we all have emergency power generators as well. Next slide, please. The benefits of the study. Zero emission reliable energy source to help FCRTA expand its fleet operation. We've got a fleet of 120 some odd vehicles, and we're only at 21 to 27 vehicles that have been that are electric vehicles. The rest are gas and compressed natural gas. We have to make that conversion. But while we're making that conversion, we also want to have the cities in rural Fresno County benefit from that, develop and expand this microgrid system, and then get the appropriate funding accordingly. Electric vehicle charging for residents' vehicles, as I mentioned earlier, the San Joaquin Valley Air District has programs where qualified residents can apply for electric vehicles, subsidies. I don't know whether they're new, but I know they have programs for used electric vehicles. Some of the residents may have a challenge with meeting these microgrid locations could be a hub for charging their vehicles, their specific. FCRTA would evaluate transit system for efficiency and effectiveness in serving the county. That's the entire purpose of this study. A potential for fuel saving costs and reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, improve the air quality, and microgrid sites could serve as community mobility. We could venture into electric scooters and other electric type mobility options for economic development, transform the vacant or underutilized sites in marginal communities, and also provide economic or job benefits to potential residents as well. Next slide, please. The next steps, we've applied for this grant opportunity, and we hope to be notified by June of this year. They're currently at the district level being reviewed, and Sacramento after the local district staff reviews them. My understanding, there's approximately 11 to 14 applications. Will be competitive, and then it's going to compete statewide. And we will work with a project advisory committee throughout the process, minimum funding, and we will coordinate with other efforts. The grid analysis, as I mentioned earlier, that electric grid analysis, and the electric vehicle plan that was just completed. With the cities, obviously Selma, to identify potential sites to select, potentially publicly owned, vacant, or underutilized sites. And if you are in agreement with this potential study, and if we do get funded, it wouldn't hurt to have that discussion if you're interested in being a collaborative partner. We would welcome that and look forward to that opportunity to work with you. Don't get selected, then we'll pursue other funding opportunities. The responses we've gotten thus far appear to be very favorable toward this area. Next slide, please. And with that, I'll conclude my presentation and open it up for any questions or discussion that you may have. And I'll make an effort to try and address those questions. Thank you.
Moses, thank you for your presentation. I was fortunate enough to hear your presentation at COG on Thursday night and thought it was a really, really very important and vital topic for us to consider, given the alternative energy sources that we all of our communities in California are going to need to be exploring in the coming years and decades. Does council have any questions for Moses at this time?
I have a question, if I may.
Sure.
Moses, thank you for the presentation. It was wonderful, and you are always, first of all, thank you for everything you do for Selma, and we really appreciate everything you've been doing past. Question, is your future plans or your plans for the solar, or is your future plan to install or to ask for solar farms around the valley to help or to, I guess, assist for your microgrid farms? Are you looking into that, or is that part of the process?
Yeah, council member, that's a very good question. I believe that will be part of the analysis once we do get into that
Good. Okay.
for this type of analysis, which is really going to do a deep dive.
Mhm.
No rock is going to be unturned, and we're going to look at every opportunity and venture. As you know, solar has progressed over the past few years, not only in the construction of the panels, but also relative to the battery storage. There's also some other new technology that we're aware of, and I was just made aware of Friday and today about some other new technology in lieu of battery storage. And there's one site in Fresno that PG&E is out. And when word gets out that we're pursuing an application like this, all of a sudden, other entities take notice and say, it sounds good, it's worth pursuing. Have you looked at this, just as you're mentioning today? So all these opportunities we're going to be looking at within the scope of the study once we do get the funding. So that is a good comment. Thank you. And you are welcome for everything, Council Member.
I have a question and a couple of comments as well. Thank you also, Moses, for this presentation. When you talk about Orange Cove and the rural communities, I remember some of my residents when I was out in Parlier that, you know, they heavily relied on this rural transportation. And so this is a really good tool, or, you know, the vehicles are great so that they can come to, you know, the smaller communities or even to Fresno. So I'm really excited about this. The other thing, you know, you mentioned about, like Councilmember Trujillo said, you know, the solar farms, and we do have the new park that we're going to be, you know, building out by Rockwell. And so, you know, that's a great vacant lot that we could probably look at and potentially put some, you know, charging stations there. It might be a little bit off the freeway, but you know, that might be, because I believe Walmart has a charging station there in their parking lot. So I think that we could, you know, definitely utilize that space. So I'm really excited for this, and I hope that we can partner with you, you know, in the future, because solar is, you know, the way that we're gonna not use our or limit our emissions. So I'm just really excited for all of this. But yeah, my biggest is I'm thinking we have a lot of vacant, you know, land out by Rockwell Park. So that would be a great addition out there.
Thank you, Council Member. And in response to that, here's another opportunity. As I mentioned earlier in the presentation about the potential for partnering with the private sector through public-private agreements. Depending on the developer, if it's the city, if it's another developer, a multitude of developers, FCRTA would consider that partnership so that the developer, if there's one out there that could benefit from the tax credits, from the benefits and the write-offs, a partnership could be established so that the funds of that Rockwell Pond project could be expanded to include other amenities if we get that partnership. Because the more money you put in the pot, the bigger the pot grows. And I'm not talking about gambling. I'm talking about infrastructure, okay? And I'm talking about shared equity and shared cost. More importantly, the shared benefits. If you get a private developer or a team of developers to come in with the City of Selma in partnership and FCRTA, amazing what can be done, because we would be using that project, the land at Rockwell, and we would be applying for grants to provide funding for that construction site. The private developer would, if qualified, would be eligible for the tax credits depending on their portion of the construction or transferred credits. I'm not an attorney nor a CPA, nor do I profess to be one, but there's opportunity there for a multitude of partnerships that other folks could benefit. We could even go into existing business districts and offer that as well. Now, the difference, Council Member, with our chargers and Walmart's, Walmart charges for the charging. Ours would be free to the general public and also to the municipal vehicles and to FCRTA. The whole idea is to generate this power that would benefit the local residents in the cities that these are constructed at. Now, there may be a minimal off-peak or peak type charge if we can't generate enough electricity and store it, but we're hoping that the new technology will allow us the avenue to put in the most current technology to derive the most benefit, so that it would be at little or no cost to the residents that are going to benefit from the charging. But I think that's a great point you made about that Rockwell Pond. I think that's a great opportunity. Great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, and to touch on the tax credits, yeah, it really does benefit the developers because you know, in where I work, we have a lot of tax credits for our affordable housing, and you know, the developers really do benefit from that. And like you said, it's more money into, you know, more areas, and so it's a great partnership. So I'm really excited. Hopefully we can get this done soon.
Great. Thank you for your input. I appreciate it.
Moses, I have a question. How long will the feasibility study take?
You know, these are pretty exhaustive, and there's a lot to be done. And just by comparison, to answer your question, the current one that we have, this electric grid analysis that we're doing countywide, pretty much on the same level as this, it's about a 12 to 13 month project. And we get an entire team of electrical engineers, structural engineers, just an entire team that is put together to address this. And we're hoping within 12 to 13 months, very similar to that electric grid analysis as well. Because the sooner we get the study completed, the better we can benefit from it, so that we can apply for the actual infrastructure, one. Two, we can provide it to our member agencies, such as the City of Selma and the other 13 entities, so that you can take this study and apply for funding that may be applicable to the city, just based on this study, and you can substantiate it in other areas, whether it's self-help housing, whether it's assisted multi-dwelling apartments that could benefit as well, or certain targeted areas, or even schools. I'm just throwing out a few that you could take this and benefit from it. Just like that electric grid analysis that's going to be completed in January of 2022, we're going to turn that around and provide it to each of the member agencies, because there's going to be one section just for your jurisdiction. That's part of this whole effort, is that we not only benefit, but you all benefit as well. Welcome.
Do any other council members have comment? Okay, I do. I want to say thank you again for being here. You know, the city of, or the Fresno County Rural Transit Agency is really far ahead of everybody else in the state on this, thanks to Moses' pioneering eye for technology. Once again, you've seen the future, and I think the future is here and will be here before we know it, because we're all going electric in the state, and you know, EV is the way to go, and all the cars, even planes, are going to be electrified. But what we really haven't thought through is, will we have the capacity in the grid system? So I think having and we're doing the grid analysis now, but having the microgrid potential and capability will augment the grid capability and potential that we have in the city. And it's really important to have that additional microgrid capability. Is that correct?
That's correct. And with that, I encourage the City of Selma to start looking around for some vacant land, whether you have access to it or know of it, and just kind of keep your eyes open. It'd be great to do the first demonstration project here in Selma, same location where we have our maintenance facility, and where we're going to build our maintenance facility as well. So
I had the honor of voting at the last COG on you know, providing those or accepting those matching grant numbers for the $10 million maintenance facility that's coming to Selma. Thank you for that, FCRTA. We're looking forward to that. But also wondering, there's some land out there. Will there be a microgrid capability out there? Are you planning on putting some of that out there, some of the panels out there? Some of these arc
That's
panels,
gonna be,
solar trees.
That's a good question. That's going to be part of the design criteria. And since it's a design build, that's going to be incorporated in the project.
And
Right across the street from Selma Unified School District. And we hope to partner with them in the future as well, because they have quite a bit of land on their property as well. And hopefully everybody can benefit, not just us from putting it in, but then the school district as well.
my last thing I'll say, we all saw what happened in Texas as the grid was overloaded. We don't want that to happen in Selma in an emergency situation, and having microgrid capabilities will help. Is there a potential to use that power for anything other than electrical vehicles? Can we use it for structures? Can we use it for power for homes, for structures?
You know, that's a very good question, and I probably glazed over it, but in one of the slides here, you see the grid system and the connectivity to it, and it does show the businesses and residents and clinics. There you go, Raina. And it does show some of the other potential beneficiaries of this microgrid system. And a lot of it's going to depend on what technology that we have available at the time that we apply for the grants and procure the equipment. And we're hoping that it's so far advanced that it will be able to act as a, lack of a better term, a backup generator for maybe some of the residents in that area. I look at where the Boys and Girls Clubs are over there by Cells on the other side of the way. And I've seen some of the vacant land in and around there. That park there where the boys, opportunity for that mic. And they would be designed so that the existing use would not be encumbered and it would not be impeded. And obviously it would be designed by engineers, architects, and so forth. It would complement whatever area it's going to be built on. It could act as a local, I think one of the council members mentioned it, solar farms earlier. So it could be used as a solar farm or garden for that particular area so that the immediate residents and or businesses could have access to it.
You know, the city is getting ready to go solar and is looking to award a solar contract to put these into city buildings. Is there any way we could dovetail that solar project with the microgrid project with some solar trees and some of those that we were looking at, the solar trees that you were looking at and the, what did you call them, the arcs?
Yeah, solar arcs.
Solar arcs. Could that be dovetailed? Could those projects be dovetailed?
I would not want to hinder your process and your project and timetables, but I think once yours is underway, depending on your startup date, I think we could come in and ride the coattails of that project, and then during the design build aspects of the microgrid system, we could access whatever's available from your existing projects that dovetails into it, and we can make additional connectivities wherever it's available.
So at the very least, let that solar contractor who wins the bid aware of what you're doing.
Oh, by all means.
Right.
By all means.
Great. Okay, with that, do we have any callers tonight that have any questions for Moses regarding his presentation?
As a reminder to all the callers that we have on the line, please raise your virtual hand by pressing *9 if you'd like to make any comments. Mayor Robertson, at this time, none of our callers have raised their hand.
Great, thank you. With that, we say thank you very much, Moses. Appreciate this very timely talk tonight.
And thank you, everybody. And my apologies for being long-winded, but I appreciate the opportunity to present this opportunity to all of you. Thank you again.
Thanks very much. And with that, we will move on to our second presentation tonight, which is a fire department badge pinning ceremony. Tonight, we will have the pinning for Fire Engineer Tyson Johnson, Fire Engineer Luis Arana, and Fire Engineer Albert Rodriguez.
I apologize for the brief wait, but we need to disinfect everything. Thank you.
You sit in the position of honor right there.
All right, thank you, Mayor, members of council. It's been a little while since we've been able to have a badge pinning and an introduction. So I'm very pleased to be able to begin that process tonight. Over the next few meetings, we'll be introducing some of our recently promoted staff and some of our new hires. And we're going to start tonight by introducing our three newest fire engineers. Some of a very simplified description of what the fire engineer does is they're responsible for driving our apparatus, getting us to the emergency scene, and getting us water. So that's just a very simplified description of what they do. I know they'll tell you that they do a whole lot more, and I would agree with that. But that's they are responsible for making sure our firefighters have water to fight the fire. A little bit about what they went through for this. They've been prepping for probably about a year, and went through. They had a written test, which I've always said it's the most difficult test in the fire service for engineer. They also completed a practical exam out in the field where they demonstrated their abilities to operate both our ladder truck and our fire engines. And then they had several interviews. So we're excited tonight to be able to introduce our three newest engineers. And we'll start with Tyson Johnson. Come on up. And Tyson has been with the department since September of 2018. And Tyson started as a firefighter EMT with us and actually completed his paramedic process, his paramedic certification in June of 2019. So he spent the first 6 months or so not only learning to be a firefighter and going through the probationary process, but also completing paramedic school, which is a daunting task in and of itself. So we were real proud of him for accomplishing that. For the past year, Tyson has been played an instrumental role in helping us get our EMS division up and running. He's been in charge of ordering much of our medical supplies, and we appreciate him for doing that as well. Tyson is going to be a member of our newest established rescue team, and we're excited for that. So I'd just like to introduce Tyson Johnson. He will be pinned tonight by his son, Aiden.
So you guys want to get a, oh, he wants.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. Come on up, family. This is my son, Aiden. And this is my mom, Vicky. And then this is one of my siblings, Anjanae. There's 6 6 siblings all together, so they weren't all able to be here. But this is Larry. He's my stepdad, and then my brother-in-law, Mark. Thank you. Hold the mic, brother. Yeah. You can see our heads.
Congratulations. Oh, yeah, let's do it. Congratulations again, Tyson. Way to go.
Wonderful.
Okay, just give us a second. We'll bring in our next candidate.
Sounds good. Met with him. Yeah, I met with him this week. Uh-huh. Firefighter. You doing?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Our next fire engineer is Albert Rodriguez.
You're good. You're the center of attention. Nope, you're right there.
Albert has been with the department since February of 2019. Albert is also part of our new rescue team and has played a role in assisting us with our EMS division by also ordering equipment, establishing our driver training program for our new EMTs and paramedics, and assisted with the new ambulance and getting that outfitted as was necessary to get our division up and running. So we appreciate all of Albert's work. Albert tonight will be pinned by his daughters, Jocelyn and Ava. And we will also be doing a swearing in for Albert. Unfortunately, Albert, the timing of his hiring was such that he missed our last badge pinning. And then when the pandemic hit, and we haven't been able to do one since, so this is actually his first badge pinning. He promoted so quickly that
Seems like yesterday.
we'll do his swearing in as well.
Great.
So, go ahead and do the swearing.
Albert, please raise your right.
Go ahead and do a quick introduction.
Okay, first my daughters, Ava Rodriguez and Jocelyn, they're gonna be pinning me today, and it's my girlfriend Juanita and her daughter Jade. So leave it back to you.
All right. You get
Oh.
Got it. Got to take your time. Took us like a year and a half to get here. It's okay. So, all right. Congratulations.
Thank you for your patience. Just know we sanitize everything before each family comes in. So that is why we take some time in between each family.
It's a practice. How you doing, Luis?
Welcome.
Long time no
Congratulations.
see.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of council. Our third member tonight is Louis Arana. Louis has been with the department since November of 2018. Also part of our new rescue team. He's been involved in a number of projects throughout the last couple of years and has recently taken on the daunting task of being the association president. So we admire his bravery. And Louis will be pinned by his wife, Elsie, who you guys will meet in a couple meetings as one of our new full-time EMTs.
Congratulations.
Louis, would you like to introduce your family real quick? And then we'll have Elsie come up and pin your badge.
Oh, just a little bit about myself. I currently stand here in the room at the age of 31, married with 3 children. They're the wild running around, but a slight introduction. We have my daughter with her Uncle Rich. We have my mom here with my baby, Andres. He turns 2 next month. We have my nephew, Jonathan, my wife, Elsie, who's also a full-time EMT here as well, my nephew, Jason, and my sister, Belinda, and my brother-in-law, Omar, and my dad, Jose, with my middle child, Angel, who's 3 years old. So. Yeah, sure.
You guys want to come up here? Come on up.
Come on up and so family want to take a picture?
You guys want to come up? Congratulations, Louis.
Congratulations.
I got to meet Louis earlier last week as the association president. We got to get together, and I see a real bright future for Louis in the department with you as the head of the FFA. Thanks again for that meeting. Thank you, Chief, for the presentation.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you for your patience tonight and the opportunity to introduce our new engineers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, great job.
We will take a 5-minute break so we can kind of clear the floor, and then we'll come back for the remainder of our council meeting.
Before the mayor reconvenes the meeting, I'd like to confirm our council members are back on. Hi, Councilmember Mendoza Navarro. Are you back on? Mayor Robertson, I believe we're ready to go.
With that, we will resume the meeting and move into our consent calendar of tonight's meeting. All items listed under the consent calendar are considered routine. The complete consent calendar will be voted on by the majority of the city council. For purposes of discussion, any council member may have an item removed from the consent calendar and put back on the regular agenda. The council will then vote on the remainder of the consent calendar. Do any council members have any items they would like to have removed from the consent calendar tonight?
Yes, I'd like to remove or pull 1H.
Okay. I will pull item 1J. Is there a motion to approve items 1A through G
I'll make the
and I?
motion.
Is there a second? I'll
Wait,
second that. Can you call the roll,
sorry.
please?
Hold on, sorry, I apologize. I just want to confirm with city manager, item I or 1I, the numbers that are on there are correct, right? The salary amounts that are on the schedule are correct?
The master salary schedule?
Correct.
Yes, this was updating it so that the lieutenant position now reflects the commander position.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Just wanted to confirm.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, there was a first by Councilmember Guerra and a second by Mayor Robertson. Can you call the roll, please, City Clerk?
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho.
Yes.
Item H.
On this one, I just wanted to confirm because when we originally talked about it last meeting, we talked about possibly doing the meeting or having a resolution to start at 5:30, but I did not realize that we already had a resolution that was in 2018 that had the meeting start at 6 o'clock. And so I was just wondering if we just changed it not that long ago. I know when we agreed, I didn't know that there was already a resolution. So I'd just like to keep it at 6 o'clock if that's possible, since we already have the resolution.
Okay, so we can take this is now part of the regular agenda, so we can have discussion. Do any other council members have any input on this agenda item?
I have just a quick question. Were we changing it to 5:30? Because if we have presentations, the meetings go a lot longer and we were trying to avoid that. Is that what we were trying to do?
The way I understood it was that we were going to have all meetings start at 5:30, not just the ones that were where we had special presentations.
So the item was brought forward with a request to discuss it. One suggestion was that if we have two meetings, we could start at 5:30, but the council agreed that you wanted to change it. As of the last meeting, the council wanted to change it to 5:30, whether or not we had presentations or not. That's where we were at the last
That
meeting.
was my understanding as well. And in terms of when we started, 2018, that could have been when there was a new attorney, city attorney, that requested that we actually vote that in as a start time in order to conduct, I think, executive sessions right before and after. It had something to do with that. There was a legal explanation for it. But as long as I can remember, 8 years, we've always started at 6 for the council. So this is not 6 o'clock is not something new. It's been around for a long time.
Correct. So now we're changing it to the 5:30. And so I just wanted to get the clarification. And I know that we had said that this would only be for 6 months and then we would review it. So I just wanted to just ask that question.
Okay. Did that
Because it had
clarify
been-
things?
Yes.
Okay. If no other council member has any issues, we can, I'll see if there's a motion for this to start all meetings at 5:30. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? I'll make a second. Call the roll, please, City Clerk.
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
No.
Councilmember Trujillo,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho.
No.
Okay, so we will keep the meeting starting at 6. So with that, we will move on to item J. That's a consideration of the check register dated February 23rd, 2021. Got a couple items. 768, I'll work backwards tonight. 76827 Townsend Public Affairs. It says consulting fees for February, $7,000, but don't they charge $3,500 a month? Is there just a month missing from that description?
I'm sorry, which check number was that?
76827. Sorry, page 42.
Yeah, it's just a month. There's two. It's doubled up.
Okay, they didn't increase their
No,
rates.
they
didn't
haven't
double
increased
their
it, no.
rates. Okay, and then on page 41, item 76782, Joe Salbert, business license overpayment. What does Salbert do?
That one I'm not sure of. I will have to look into that one.
Okay, thank you.
Number was that?
76782.
Okay, finally, 7 at the top of the page, 76762, Joel Fidor, Pioneer Village, new water heater COVID testing room. What's that?
It was just a repair and maintenance at the structure where the COVID site is at. It's
Oh,
that very
okay.
first building.
I was noticing that, we have multiple contractors for most jobs, like electrical. Like here we have Rosati, we've had Alves, we've had All Wire. For tires, Camacho's, Les Schwab gets used for heating, HVAC contractors, various contractors get used. Do we use multiple contractors for plumbing? Because usually I see one. I'm just making the inquiry.
Yeah, a majority of our contractors, like the plumbers, electricians, are pretty standardized. For example, the AC units, we always use the same vendors. For the plumbing, we always use the same vendors. For electrical, it's usually the same vendor as well. The Rosati that you're referencing to actually was doing welding some fences and stuff like that, or some gates, something to that extent. But it's pretty standard for them to use that vendor.
So the city spreads it around as much as it can with contractors.
Primarily, they've been using the same vendors for those type of services.
Thank you.
If I might, I think 76782 may very well be a business license payment. And then when we did approve the business license COVID relief, that we had to reimburse some of those that had already paid their business license.
That's correct.
Got it.
I see a few of them on there.
Okay.
I have a
Right.
question.
Do you have another item, Councilman?
Just a check number in question. Isaac, this question is for you.
Sure.
76828, the attorney fees, Turtle and McKelsey. Where does that fund come out of?
That's going to be the general.
General fund. So general fund, that's actually our legal representation taking care of our personnel commission, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Are we keeping a tally as to how much we spent last year and this year in regards to these expenses? Or do we have a tally?
I can get you a tally if you'd like to see prior year versus this year.
Yeah. The 2020 would be good, and maybe where we're at with 2021. It's I'd like to see. I know we questioning some of the expenses in regards to the police station and has you, but I think that I think we need to start keeping track of this. I think I've been noticing it come up a lot. So, but yeah, I would like that. Please, we can.
Sure. So both fiscal years then?
Yeah.
Last year and this? Sure, I can take care of that.
All
Great,
right.
and you'll send that
Thank
out
you.
to the whole council, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have one, page 42. Check number 76819, statewide traffic study, and it just says barricades and cones with City of Selma, 4,596. What was that for,
It
Isaac?
just applies for streets. So the
Sorry?
stencils are used for like the letters. They're just stencils.
Uh-huh.
It's just barricades and things of that nature. So just replenish the supplies.
Any more? Okay. With that, is there a motion to approve item J?
Make a motion.
Is there a second? Councilperson Mendoza Navarro, did you second? Okay. Just hit the
Okay.
mute button.
Yes,
Okay.
sorry, I thought I had it muted.
I know,
Got
I was
it.
gonna go for it too.
Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Garrett,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho,
Yes,
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. That will move on to regular business. The first item is a council request to discuss adopting a resolution for mayoral appointments to be nominated with council approval.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is a council request from Councilmember Mendoza Navarro to discuss this, having the mayoral appointments be nominations from the mayor and approved by the city council. In addition, Mayor Robertson asked that certain items be attached to JPA with COG and SKF, and our city attorney also attached a memorandum explaining the process of such appointments. As is customary, I'll turn this over to the requesting Councilmember Mendoza Navarro.
So the reason why I put this back on the agenda was because I didn't when we had it on before, we didn't get a real good clarification, and so I wanted to put it as a resolution to, in the absence of the documents, that it would be the mayoral appointments would be city council with city council approval. And so some of the things that I did read and city attorney, I might need your assistance in some of these for like the Fresno COG. It does, state who's or actually going back on the memo, you quoted Government Code 4605, which states that the mayor, with the approval of the city council, should make all appointments to boards, commissions, and committees unless otherwise specified, provided in the statute. When I was reading the statute for Fresno COG, it looks like, I know that this is a very old document, but like 1979 or something, it looks like back then they used to call the council members directors. So the way that I'm reading it and the way I'm understanding it is that really any of the directors can be appointed. Is that my correct understanding or no? You're muted. You're muted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council, members of the public. Basically, there is a state statute that governs the process for appointments. And the process is that an elected mayor, as you have in Selma, has a prerogative to make the appointments. However, they are all subject to approval of the city council. So that's a basic rule. Now, there are two types of exceptions for that statute. One is where another statute says otherwise. And that's a law, that's a state law. The Attorney General's office has issued opinions concerning this government code section. And in one case, a city was asking whether they could adopt an ordinance that changed the process. And the Attorney General said no. The Attorney General said that an ordinance, a city ordinance, is not a state statute. So the answer was no. However, I gave a couple of examples, and I didn't go through the whole list of all the various boards and commissions, but I did give 2 examples where appointments are made to boards that are governed by a state statute. And one was the was a mayor's committee, and the other one was SKF. Now, beyond that, you mentioned an agreement with COG, a statute with COG. Beyond that, it's actually agreements. So joint powers agreements, and those are agreements that are entered by local entities with other local entities. And a big one that's very prominent in Fresno County is the Fresno COG. And so the agreement that all the parties entered, the 15 cities and the county, those procedures govern how the appointments are made to the COG board. And then there was another, I think that was another one I mentioned, but basically that's the process.
Okay. So, I mean, the way I'm understanding it, and I guess I understand that this is because it's a new mayoral election, or the mayor was elected. The way that I'm reading it, or the way that I'm understanding it, is that unless you're a mayor, you can't attend any of these meetings unless the mayor says, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give up my or not my designation, but my nomination for myself to attend, then nobody else can attend unless you're the mayor. Is that
the mayor
correct?
has the authority to designate, to make that appearance on COG, and say for SKF as well. And then for COG, if he doesn't, then another person may be designated, but he has the prerogative in the first instance.
Okay. So I guess, like I said, it just for consistency, I wanted to make sure that it was a fair distribution. And then also for let me choose my words right. I can't even think of a good word to think about or to mention, but basically, again, if because I know that I'm new, and so I'd really like to attend these meetings, and that's why I brought it back up. And I know that it's a mayoral appointment, and so I'm just thinking that unless it's a mayor that's going to say, yep, you're going to go ahead and go in there, I won't go to that meeting.
Let me just clarify. I think the issue had to do with who represents the city of Selma at the table, if you will, on the board, on the COG board, and the mayor does. And if the mayor doesn't, then in that absence, such council member as may be present. And so different cities do that differently, okay? And then there's on the mayor's committee, it was the other example. In that instance, the mayor can designate who can go in his stead. So probably the best thing to do is probably have your city clerk make a list of each one, so you're clear on who makes the appointments and who can sit as an alternate if there is such a way to do that.
This is Teresa. Just to clarify, it sounds like of the appointments that are typically considered the mayor's appointments, SKF, the mayor's committee, and COG are the ones that dictate the mayor is the primary person, and then there could be an alternate determined.
Right.
Thank you. Okay.
I don't see an alternate. So I'm looking at the 8th Amendment to the Fresno COG with the joint, and an alternate would be practical, but it's not stated in the JPA. And a JPA is an agreement between the organization and the city, which is what I'm looking at for COG. It's actually more recent than 1970. It was signed by the then mayor Ken Gray in 2013. It specifically says on who forms the council. COG is basically the planning commission for Fresno County. The mayors of the member cities, or any mayor's absence, such council man as may be present, which should be council person. But it doesn't necessarily provide, for an alternate, but I think it's wise to have one just in case the mayor can't make it. SKF is equally descriptive through the health and safety code that it's the presiding officer. And if the presiding officer is unable or unwilling to serve, then the council has the ability to choose the representative.
That's correct.
But it is right, it's the presiding officer. And the same with the mayor's select committee, which is just kind of an outpost of COG. I mean, I think the mayor's, I sat on it during the last COG meeting when, the vice chair of the select committee was chosen, and select committee it chooses various board members that are COG appointees. So that's another one that's chosen. That's a mayor appointment. But I think it would be helpful to have the rest of the appointments, the Air Pollution Control Board, the Kings River Water Conservation District, the Beautification Committee, the 5 cities. It would be helpful to get them all together so we can see what is legally a mayor appointment and what is under the council jurisdiction. So we can vote on this finally and take care of this agenda item and move on. Can we get that? Can we get a list by the city clerk?
That's
run
okay.
that
I'll
by the
just
city
pull it.
attorney?
I'll just pull it. That's okay. Thank you.
We can get a list if council would like us to get a list and put it on the next agenda. Did not mean to interfere with Councilmember Mendoza Navarro's just request, but wanted to answer that question.
Okay.
I think you already gave us a list of the meetings, so we'll just whatever was appointed. That's fine.
What does council want to do on this?
I'm gonna pull it, and whatever assignments you've already given, it's fine.
I think right now, point of order, right now it belongs to the body because the body is hearing the matter.
So is there consensus to pull the matter, council members?
Actually, I think we need to vote because it's better to have a roll call vote.
City attorney, this is not an action item. This is to give direction. So there's really no vote, but if we could get consensus whether to pull this, I think that's what our city attorney, can you clarify? You're asking the council to weigh in on this?
The issue was whether the item should just be pulled off the table. And my view is that now it's on your table, not a council member's table. So the council should weigh in on whether to take it off or
a consensus or a vote. Does it matter?
Or I think based on the discussion and the misunderstandings, probably in your case in this city, it's probably better to just go ahead and have a vote.
Okay. Is there a motion to pull the item?
So,
Mayor, if I may
Go
also
Yes.
just clarify, the past practice for the mayoral appointments was for the mayor to make them. And that's how Selma has done this in the past. The item brought forward is to have the council approve those appointments. And as the city attorney has clarified for us, that is actually a state requirement.
Unless there's an overriding agreement like a JPA or a code. So
Mr.
that's
Mayor,
the difference.
Yeah,
Mr.
with
Mayor,
those
make a
contingencies.
motion to pull it.
Okay, is there a okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, with that, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Do any callers have any input on this agenda item tonight?
I do see we have one caller ending in 299. Please state your name for the record.
Good evening. This is Yolanda Torres. I would just like to say that I think it would be best just to pull the item. I mean, like Teresa just said, it's been a practice in the past for the mayor to just assign the appointments, and And I don't think that should be changed. I think whether the mayor got voted in or it's on a rotation, I think we need to stay with what we've done in the past. It's worked very well. These meetings are open to the public and any other city council members can attend. So, so that's another option for them to go and get involved and learn more about what's going on. So that's just my opinion. I think we need to focus on other businesses in the city. We got a lot going on our plate right now. So I think we should just kind of move on from this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Do we have any other callers?
All right, that guy, yeah.
Just a reminder to the callers on the line, if you have any comments, please raise your virtual hand by using *9. Mayor Robertson, we have no other callers on the line wishing to speak at this time.
Thank you. With that, we'll bring it back. If there's no other discussion, I would just say I'm looking forward to moving on from this as well. Mayor's always chosen this. You know, anyone can attend these meetings. They are public meetings. And, you know, I mean, it just, this agenda item, I wondered why it was being brought back in the first place, but it was. So with that, we'll look to call the roll. Can you call the roll, City Clerk?
Councilmember Trujillo?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro?
Yes.
Councilmember Guerra?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho?
Yes.
Mayor Robertson?
Yes. Item 3, council request to discuss attendance to various boards on behalf of the City Council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This is a council request from Mayor Pro Tem Cho to discuss this item. And as is customary, I'll go ahead and turn it over to the Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, hi. I think going to visiting the boards and the commissions or for visiting basis is a good idea. And the only thing I'm thinking is that I don't think I should be representing the council for any kind of opinion. My opinion might not be the same as you guys. So to me, these boards, I'm going for FYI for information, how these different boards are helping our city keep going. So that's what I'm saying, that, you know, I do not want to represent the council when we do visit these boards and commissions. Basically, that's what I'd like to have the rest of the council decide what you think on that.
The way I understood it, Mayor Pro Tem Cho, the way we discussed it the last time was that I was given a consensus 3-2 with you being the deciding vote to be able to go to these boards, the school board, the healthcare district, the cemetery district, to invite them on behalf of the city council to attend a group meeting. That's where my consensus ended.
Okay.
There was no room for me to go in and express any opinions.
Okay.
So what I've done so far, and I believe you requested the input to go to some of these boards, and since you have that relationship with Bob Allen, I think that was a fit, and you were going to visit that.
Yeah, I did go
right?
to that last week. Yes,
You did go to that.
I did.
Okay, so and I have attended the Selma Healthcare District. I zoomed in on that and limited it again to inviting the board to consider, you know, joining a group meeting with the city, and they're going to put it on their agenda for their June meeting. And then I submitted the question to the school board at Tuesday's meeting, and their response from chairperson Diane Jensen was that the acting superintendent was going to contact me regarding getting that on the agenda. Now, that was last Tuesday, and I haven't been contacted yet. So I don't know if and when that will happen, but I did see a board member this weekend, Nick Sahota, school board member at the youth center's concrete pouring. And he mentioned that he would bring it up at the next school board meeting just to see about the status of that. So yeah, I mean, my instructions I thought were pretty clear, not to go there and represent the council and have a chat and discuss items and issues, but rather just to invite these boards to a group meeting so we can all get together and discuss on an equal footing the issues that confront us as Selma, which we really should be all getting together on. I mean, listen to one of those school board meetings. There are a lot of issues that involve the city that we probably don't even know about. That'd be good for us to get together on. Does that clarify things?
Yeah, it does, because I assumed that we were like representing the council as an individual, and then I didn't feel really good on that realm. But like I say, I will be talking to Bob more about when you guys set up your meeting. If you want to, I would do that.
Did he mention that he was amenable to joining a group meeting?
He didn't, not yet at that point, because they were doing an audit, and they were like really trying to get through their stuff in a certain time. So I didn't even have the time to get in there with him for that.
Okay, so the next time you talk to him, maybe they
Yes,
could put it
I'll
to
definitely call
vote.
him. Okay, I'll call him.
Okay.
So on this, go
Councilmember?
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. So on this, I did have some concerns with this because when on the subject, it was to represent the board on the behalf of the city council. So to me, that's inviting, what's the expectation? What decisions are expected to be made at these? What's the goal and objective? I'd really like to have a roll call vote versus, I just attended the ethics training last week. And one of the things that they did emphasize on, that they strongly suggested, is that not to do any consensus votes, because we are doing things virtually and we are, not present there. So they did suggest that doing roll call votes instead of consensus. And so, like I said, my concerns had to do with what is being told at these city or at these various meetings. If, just like the other meetings, they're open to the public, so we could just attend them as the public, and we can meet with the different representatives on our own and not make a decision, one person make a decision on behalf of the whole city council. And that's how I'm reading this, is that person would be representing the whole city council, and we're all 1/5 of a vote. And I don't feel comfortable with being represented at these various meetings.
And that's why the instructions were very clear and the consensus was limited to inviting the board to a group meeting without any further agenda. The whole point of the boards getting together is so we can discuss business that cuts across all the boards. Individuals can go to the board meetings, and I've done that for a long time. I've attended the meetings as Scott Robertson, and that's good. I've gotten knowledge of the board, but I haven't attended as the mayor or a member of the city council.
Okay.
I think it would be more profitable and be more expansive in terms of understanding what the other boards do. It would also expand the access to these other boards. There's still people, council member, who don't know what the Selma Healthcare District does, and they do great things. It'd be nice to give some of these boards that exposure that people don't know about. And in a group setting, that could happen. That seems to be what we've been talking about. There's really nothing else to read into the meeting other than, providing more information and more service to our citizens and having an understanding by allowing the people to see the decision makers and being on the line. I remember, there have been town hall requests in the past that have been denied. And the reason was, don't want the people to yell at us. Well, that's what we sign up for. Okay. I mean, you get in there, you get yelled at, you get questioned, you get people who are complimentary, you get the gamut, but we're here to take input from the citizens. That's who we represent. And it would be something that would, I believe, further the input of the citizens. This is as much for the citizens as it is for the board members to see what they have in their city.
And I agree with that. We do need to have some type of thing, but right now, because of COVID, to have a town hall meeting, where is this going to be held? We can't have, at a funeral, you can't have more than 15 people at the site. There's a lot of restrictions. And so when would these type of town hall meetings be presented, and when would these happen? Because, you know, we have a lot of restrictions. Our churches aren't even open at full capacity. Our restaurants aren't even open at full capacity. So for me, I would like to make a motion to not have any representation at any of these boards, other than if we want to go for ourselves and learn and just, you know, get information for ourselves. But I don't want any city council member representing at these boards.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, so if there's a first and a second, we'll go to any callers who have any opinions on having a group meeting of all the decision makers in the city so you can see all of us and ask us questions.
I just want to make a comment. I didn't get to.
Okay, before
say-
the callers, we'll go to Councilmember Guerra.
comment and give maybe an explanation, because I think, and this is just my opinion, I think representation, you guys are getting confused. When you go to like the healthcare district, and I'll start with them first. I attended healthcare district meetings, and when you see proposals being given to the board, you're getting proposals from the schools. I saw them award not $100,000 to the Selma Unified for the all-weather track. I saw them award football for uniforms, for pads, helmets, because the school district didn't have money. I saw them award basketball, girls and boys basketball. I saw them award the churches to feed the homeless. I saw them award, we just know the city. The city got what, 25,000 to feed the seniors for senior meals. I mean, I could go on and on. These are meetings that I attended as an individual, as a citizen of Selma, so that I can become knowledgeable. Because for years, when I started back in the 80s, and we were the founders of Selma Youth Cheer, we didn't know of this program. I would have wished that we would have known, because back then we had parents that couldn't afford to put their children in sports, football and cheer. And I could have came to this board and asked for help, you know, for equipment, help for things, or help parents. We never knew about this. So I became involved. And I share this with the community. I share this with Little League. I share it with whoever comes and asks me, wrestling, whoever. How can I get help? The bandits. I mean, you name it, I can go down the line and tell you how many people we've shared this and they have been awarded money. That's what it's about. It's about helping our community when maybe the city can't. You know how many times the school, the band was questioned, why didn't they go to the Unify? Why didn't they go to their board members to ask for money? Every single time Colleen asked that question, you know what they told them? The school district doesn't have money to fund any of these projects or uniforms or equipment, you name it. It was no, every single time. The school district didn't have money. But guess who helped them out? The healthcare district. That's what it's for. It's becoming involved. I've been doing this for years. I become involved. I don't go as a city council member. I've been doing council for 2 years. I go as a citizen so I could become knowledgeable and understand what other organizations or funding is out there. That's what it's about. I'm not going in there as Sarah Guerra, the councilwoman or council member. I go in there as Sarah Guerra, the taxpayer. So that's what it's about. So
Correct.
Using misrepresentation, I'm not going in there using that as a council person. So I think you guys are getting confused, and that's just the clarification. I'll give you one more before I end it. Ashneet Gill, she's a little senior this year. She's involved, she's in the senior, she's in charge of the senior groups. He went to the board and asked if the board can, the unified board, this is a school board, if they can help the seniors this year with a prom, help them with money. They need about $20,000. School board said, no, they do not have the money. So she came to the mayor I received an email as well. I'm sure that all the council received an email. What can we do to help them? What can the city do? I think you were in that call, city manager. This is what's happening. Who wants to turn our backs on these kids? We're gonna do what we can to try to help them. She started a GoFundMe. And that's what she's doing. She needed ideas, she needed direction. But if there's something that we can help them, whether it's the city, if we can't, maybe the healthcare district, somebody to help them with something. You know, that's what it's about. I mean, this is getting involved, you know, so that's just all I have to say. But it's not, I'm not, like I said, I think their misconception is they're using the word representation. They're representing the city. You're not representing the city. You're representing yourself as a taxpayer.
Yeah, correct. And the way that it was worded was that to represent us in the various boards as a city council. And so you're absolutely correct. You know, I was involved with my kids' sports. And so, you know, there's a lot of various agencies out there and referrals are great. But the way that it was worded was on behalf of the city council. And so that's why I make a motion to not have one person or two people represent me as a city council. We're all 1/5 of the vote. And so if we want to go individually, then I want to go as Blanca Mendoza Navarro. I'm going to go as Blanca Mendoza Navarro. You can go as Sarah Guerra. You know, Mayor can go as Scott Robertson. That's what we're saying is I don't want to be represented by city council at these meetings.
Yeah, but that's the majority of the council. So the majority vote, the consensus was 3-2 to send me and the mayor pro tem to these other boards to invite them to a group meeting. That was the consensus. That's how boards work. If you go individually, like I've gone for years, you can't invite them to a meeting for the whole board, which Mayor Pro Tem Cho a few weeks ago agreed with, because it'd be open and transparent and would bring the boards together. Now, all of a sudden, the Mayor Pro Tem has changed her mind and decided she doesn't want to do that, but make it very clear, this is shutting down that concept of bringing all the boards together so we can be accountable to the citizens and have a group meeting. I know in the other cities, they do it all the time. They get together all the time. They know what each other's boards are doing. We don't. We are siloed here in Selma. We don't know what the school board's doing. You know what's going on the school resource officer? Do any of you? They're talking about it at the school board meetings, and we have no idea. We don't. Do you know what's going on at the cemetery district? What's going on? What they're doing with the space and the new land? Well, if you don't know, I'll bet the citizens don't know. So the point of having us all together is for us to share information about what we do. And we start with one of us or two of us going to these boards and saying, look, the city of Selma, we would like to get together with all the boards on equal footing and get this information out. And that's the end of the consensus. That's it. And if they want to do it, then they put it to their board to vote, hey, yeah, we want to do it, or we don't want to do it. We don't want to get together with them. And then the boards that do, we would have a joint meeting somewhere on Zoom, just like you are tonight, Zooming in from your home. And we could do that safely if we're still under COVID-19 restrictions. And we could all have that discussion, which would expand the knowledge, which just going as an individual to these board meetings would not bring about. Okay, do we have any other callers on the line who would like to weigh in on this?
I see we have two callers. First caller ending in 299. Mrs. Torres, do you have comments for council?
Yes, I do, Reina. This is Yolanda Torres. I don't understand why anybody wouldn't want to get together to discuss things that are happening in our city. All these four entities would do amazing things for our community, for our children, for our seniors, for our businesses. We're not saying let's do it tomorrow. We understand we're still under COVID restrictions and so forth. I'm asking you I'm asking city council and putting it on the record right now that I'm just asking you guys to table the idea. I know, Ms. Navarro, you're worried about the COVID and we can't do it right now. Ms. Cho, I don't understand why you would switch your mind or change your mind on something like this. This is a positive thing. This is something that we can all put these 4 entities together with so many different people and come up with some great ideas to help each other. Like Mayor just said, the resource police officers are part of the city. Why would you not want to know what is going on? Budget-wise, safety-wise, what we can do to help. Same thing with what Ms. Guerra said about the health board. You know, I wish we had this long ago when my husband and I were coaching, or my husband was coaching baseball and softball and Little League. We put out so much of our own money to help a lot of parents who couldn't pay for registration, cleats, you know, cheer outfits, you know, although having our own kids in sports, we put that out there because it's important for these kids to be part of something instead of being out in the streets. So if we had a health board that would be able to donate to them back then, things would be so much different. But what I'm saying is that just keep an open mind. Let's just say, okay, you know what, right now, maybe we cannot meet. Let's just put it on the table. This is a great idea. This will give time for other entities to think about it, to come up with their ideas. And then so when it is a safe time to meet, whether it's Zoom or when we're able to get together, all these ideas can come together and move our city forward. I don't understand. And I understand there was a misunderstanding about representation or whatever the term was, and that's okay. It was a misunderstanding. Let's move forward. Let's do this for the community. Let's do this for our children. So don't just say no. Just say, okay, you know what? Let's just put it on the back burner right now, but let's keep the idea open, because anybody in the right mind would say, hey, I mean, God, just to get all these entities, can you imagine what we can do? All the ideas that we can flow through the city and make a difference. That's all I'm asking. Let's stay on a positive direction. Let's stay in the right direction. Let's move forward together. Let's work together as a whole. But I'm just asking you as a parent, as a taxpayer, as someone who volunteers in the community, to please don't just say, no, we don't want to do this. Let's leave it open and let's move forward. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Do we have any other callers wishing to give their input on this item?
Mayor Robertson, I'd like to, oh, go ahead. I'll finish.
I'm so sorry, Mayor Pro Tem Cho. Hi, caller ending in 948. Your line is open. Please state your name.
This is Teresa Salas. And actually, I disagree with what the mayor and Ms. Torres says. Each entity has been elected to do their job. The city council, the school board, the healthcare board, etc. And they don't need our input. They're running their meetings, they're running their groups by their, excuse me? They're running their groups the way that they should be run, based on their own bylaws or rules of order. We can give input, like Mayor Robertson said, as an individual citizen, but when somebody walks up and says, this is Scott Robertson, Mayor of the City of Selma, it gives the perception that he is representing the City of Selma or the council. So I really don't think that these entities need our group input on doing their job, the job that they were elected to by us, the citizens. So if you want to get together and have a group meeting to give input, I can't see where that's helpful, because they're already doing their job. If the city, if you want to know what's going on with this school resource officer, I'm pretty sure that the school district has probably let us know what their intentions are, because they're not going to hire another one through the City of Selma as in past years. So I'm pretty sure that they've let us know what their intentions are. we don't need to go to a meeting to find that out when like I said, I'm sure that they've given us that information already. No one person on the council should represent the whole council unless the whole council has agreed to that. And I think that that's what Mayor Pro Tem Cho is saying and Council Member Navarro is saying, that they don't want one person representing them or giving an opinion for them. I hope I made myself clear. Thank you.
Thank you for your input. Do we have any other callers with input on this agenda item?
Mayor Robertson, I do see that Mrs. Torres has raised her hand one more time.
Okay, she had her 3 minutes. You can have 1 minute, Ms. Torres, please. You already had your 3.
I'm sorry to butt in. I just don't agree with Ms. Salas. We're not talking about giving our input so they can change it. We're talking about working together. I specifically said put ideas together, work together so we can move this in the right direction and maybe come up with ideas to help other programs or something. I didn't say somebody's representing this. That was the misunderstanding. So nobody's representing anybody. We're just talking about all these great entities coming together for the better of our community and our children to just come up with ideas. Okay, let me take the word input out of there. Ideas to maybe be more transparent, because obviously I don't know what's going on with half the school board because they never post anything. Nobody knows anything. Everybody's always on social media. What's going on here? What's going on there? This way it'll give the community an open forum to know what is going on with everybody involved. And that would be just working together in a positive way. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Ms. Salas, you have a minute to retort if you want.
Yes, all of those meetings are available to the public. They are on Zoom. Everyone has access to all the information that's being provided by those meetings, just like the city council. It's available on Zoom. You can get the minutes from the city clerk, and that information is available from any other entity. They have to have their minutes where people can see what's going on. And most of these are being, or at least like the school board is, being handled on Zoom as the city council. So you can't say that that information is not available to the public. It is available. And so, I disagree with Mrs. Torres to say that that information is not available. It's only on social media. No, it's not just on social media. It is available in different forms.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Salas. Appreciate your input. Do we have any other callers who have input tonight?
And Mayor Robertson, we have no other callers on the line with their hands raised.
Okay, bringing it back to council. Mayor Pro Tem Cho, did you have something to add?
Yes, I did. First of all, thank you, Ms. Torres, Ms. Salas. I agree. It was a misunderstanding, and I'm thinking, like you said, I did not want to be representing the council when I do go visit these different boards. And I do also agree that getting them together will be a very informational, seeing what they're up to. That is that I am not against at all. It's just getting the timing to get everybody together would be a good, it's going to take a little work, but I think, that is a good thing. Then, that's what I agree. We need to go forward, all work together. Basically, our goals are the same, the city of Selma. So I don't have any problem with any of that. Okay. So sorry about my misunderstanding. I just didn't want to say that I was representing the council when I'm not supposed to.
Okay, but you want to have this meeting. You want to have this group meeting. Is that correct?
I'm sorry?
You want to have this group meeting with all of our boards together. Is that correct?
I would ask, yes, I'll ask the cemetery for it.
Okay. I've already asked the healthcare district and the school board. So are we going to continue that so that we can get a group meeting to start the planning for that. They all have to put it through their agendas as well
Mhm.
for us to get together and share what we do and make ourselves visible and accountable to the people. So this is a long process. Healthcare doesn't even meet until June, the end of June. So this is going to be a while.
Yeah.
And hopefully, with the vaccinations going like they are, with 10% of the US population vaccinated, by that time, hopefully we'll have an even higher percentage. We'll be taking a dent out of the COVID exposure. But this is a long-term project. If we just kill it now, we're going to be putting it back for a long time. So, at this point, I've already gone and asked, right, the healthcare district and the school board, and Mayor Pro Tem Cho has or will be asking Bob Allen of the cemetery district if they want to have a group meeting. At that point, I believe we bring it back to council, right, and just ask our city clerk to work with the city clerks of those boards to set up the logistics of that meeting. But we have to have a consensus or a decision of the council that we want to do this.
So I want
Should we change the, pardon me, I'm not done. Should we have a agenda item that says, do we want to have a group meeting? Because it seems like this discussion has morphed into that now,
Mhm.
right? Whether or not we want to have this meeting. And it's already kind of happened. The invitations have happened. So should we table this particular item and vote on whether we want to have a group meeting? Or is this a referendum on that very topic? Because if you vote no tonight, this could be putting an end to the potential for a group meeting if there's, no one to actually go and represent the city, which, should be the mayor and the mayor pro tem with the authorization of the council, with that restriction that it's just to invite the board to consider whether they want to be part of a group meeting to go through their deliberations. Nobody's going to go to anybody. As Ms. Salas said, we don't want our council to just give them input. That's not the point. The point is to share ideas and share what we do in order to spread this knowledge to the people so they know more about these boards, which you can't get from going to 5 different websites or 4 different websites and looking at videos. You can, but I think it would be more efficient to have everybody get together and just show the people what these boards do who may not have had exposure to them in the past. So we have a first and a second.
I think city attorney wanted to say something.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. It does seem like the item that's on the agenda is now moot because the request to the invitations to the boards have already been made. And that was the extent of the direction that was given at the last meeting. It was not to go talk or negotiate or present topics even. It was just, you are invited. We invite to meet with you. And that has taken place, it seems. So it seems like the agenda item that's on the agenda tonight is moot and there's nothing to act on. If anybody on the council wishes to discuss further at a future meeting, whether to actually go through with any meetings, if any of the invitees agree to meet, then maybe that should be placed on the agenda, or the city clerk could just put something on the agenda if somebody is interested in taking you up on the invitation.
Okay. So with that, we can move on. And if any council member wishes to put whether or not to have this group meeting on a future agenda, they can do so. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to item 4, consideration of a request to recognize the LGBT community during the Pride Month of June 2021. Report, please.
Mayor Robertson, members of City Council, during the public portion of the City Council meeting on Monday, February 1st, 2021, Leslie Nelson had spoke to City Council regarding the upcoming LGBT Pride Month in June. She requested that the city consider placement of banners be placed up in celebration of LGBT during the Pride Month of June. Leslie Nelson provided a staff report, which we attached to your council packet, which you received. She is online to speak further regarding this request. And I also would like to make sure that I've spoken to Leslie that if this was approved tonight, that she would speak with our public works director to make sure that everything and anything that's ordered would be the appropriate size and would match our poles and our attachments. So with that, Leslie's online. I'll turn it over to Leslie.
Good evening, Leslie.
Hi, good evening. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you taking your time for this. My son Lance and I have put together this PowerPoint to make a request that the city recognize and take a leadership role in our city celebrating Pride Month here in Selma. Each year in June, Pride Month offers the opportunity for individuals, groups, and municipalities to recognize the unique contributions made by the LGBT people. We're just asking, if possible, if we show here some banners, but I noticed on the flagpoles that they're more inclusive to a flag as kind of sliding in the slot. So we were wondering if the city would by any means be able to probably purchase 5 banners or flags at a cost of $50 each for a total of $250. And we are also asking, if possible, if the city would put a proclamation on the website. And we showed something there from the city of El Cerrito. They have a proclamation by their city council showing that they support and value Selma's LGBT community. So that was our request. And we were wondering if maybe the city council would consider that possibility. And we appreciate and we're real excited about maybe moving forward with this.
Thank you for your report, Leslie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
With that, we'll bring it back to council. Do council members have any questions or comments at this time?
I'll make a comment. Leslie, I think you're fantastic. You do so much for the community of Selma, especially with the cleanup and the beautification. And I really applaud you for bringing this forward. I don't see anything wrong with it. I hope that maybe we can accommodate Ms. Nelson in regards to the flags. I think that's very minimal. I know we've done it in the past for the other parades. Can't think of the ones, but I don't think that she's asking for a whole lot here. So if anything, I mean, I'd make the motion to move forward with her request.
Okay, I'll second that, but now it's back on the floor. Do we have any more comments by any council member or any questions? Okay, with that, do we have any caller input tonight on this topic?
Hi, Mrs. Torres, your line is open. Do you have comments for council? Hi, Mrs. Torres, your line is open. I do see your line is unmuted as a reminder. Can you hear me? As a reminder, please use star 6 to unmute your line.
Okay, I think, can you hear me now, Raina?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm so sorry. I apologize for that. Hi, honey. Miss Nelson, I think that's an absolutely fabulous idea, and I totally support it 100%. I think we need to support everybody in our community. We need to share the love, share the pride, share our support for one another. And with that said, I would like to be the first one to donate for one of your flags. And I hope the city would be able to step up and put in for this. I think it's a wonderful idea. So I would like to donate on behalf of my family to purchase one of your flags.
Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you.
Mr. Kirshner, will you be contacting Ms. Torres regarding her kind donation?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Any other caller input?
Mayor Robertson, at this time, I do not see any other hands raised.
Does council have any ending comments? I will bring it back and I'll say that Selma is about diversity, respect, and inclusion, which dovetails perfectly with the theme of LGBT Pride Month. We should have zero tolerance for anti-gay slurs, and recognizing all the groups who make up our town and their contributions, including our LGBT community members, is what makes Selma such a special place. Fresno County and in Selma, no one is invisible. And events like this, it recognizes all the members of the community who formerly have been marginalized. And with that, I will call the roll.
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho.
Yes.
Okay. Item 5 is a public hearing item, consideration on declaring an abandoned sign at 1505 2nd Street, Selma, California, an illegal on-premises advertising display and a public nuisance, and ordering the property owner to abate the nuisance and continue to March 1st, 2021. Report, please.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, members of the council.
Good
You
evening,
may
Fernando.
recall that that back in January, the council decided to initiate advertising display abatement on this property at 1505 2nd Street. We started to move forward with the process, and then it was discovered that the property actually changed hands back in December. And after checking with our interim city attorney, she agreed that it would be best to pull the item to close the public hearing and start over with our normal code enforcement process with the new owner. Thank you. Would you like me to repeat any of that?
Could we hear any of what Mr. Santillan said? Go ahead and repeat it if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
So we started moving forward with the sign abatement at 1505 2nd Street pursuant to direction from council on January 16th. And we discovered that the property had changed hands. It was transferred to a different owner or sold to a different owner. And after conferring with our interim city attorney, she recommended that we close the public hearing or withdraw it and start over with our normal code enforcement process with the new owner to avoid any non-compliance with state law. So at this time, city staff is requesting that the public hearing be withdrawn and that we can begin the process over with the new owner.
Interim city attorney, do we need to take a vote to withdraw that? How do we do this?
I think it would be helpful just to do that so that we just start over. And there were a couple of other items on starting the process over as well, Mayor.
Since this is a public hearing, do I need to open it to the public on the motion to withdraw?
No, what we're asking is apparently the hearing was never actually like opened formally. So we're just asking that it be withdrawn from the agenda.
Okay. Is there a motion to withdraw this item tonight?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second? Okay. Second from Councilmember Mendoza Navarro. Is there any more discussion? Does anyone on the phone have any input on this item tonight before we take the vote?
As a reminder to the callers on the line, please use *9 to raise your virtual hand and we will select you from the meeting queue. Mayor Robertson, at this time, we have no one raising their hands.
Thank you, City Clerk. Would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
Yes.
Councilmember Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. And with that, we will move to our Departmental reports tonight. We'll start with City Manager Gallivan.
Members, I'd like to share with you that today staff submitted a planning transit-oriented development grant to COG. So that is a request for $167,000 to complete in downtown, the overlay project, the business improvement district, and to do a strategic plan. So a really good application got submitted today, and hope we'll be successful with that.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. Also today, the second round of business grant relief funds were distributed. So those businesses should start receiving those funds. We had 42 that will be receiving them. 41 have gone out, and one more, we're just finalizing some additional paperwork. We had 19 new applicants, and the rest of the applications were return applicants from the first round, getting a second round. Also, just keeping an eye on the American Rescue Plan that passed, that is going to the Senate no later than March 14th. The League of Cities has sent us some advocacy letters to go to senators, so we'll get those prepared for signature, and we'll keep an eye on that. Thank
Just
you.
a note to council, the mayor signs those.
Yes.
So that is right. That's just the way it's done with the city. If I'm unable to, then the mayor pro tem would. In the event the mayor pro tem's unable to, then it would be a council member who's available would sign one of those letters. Okay, is that it, City
Yes,
Manager?
thank you.
And by the way, did you mention that the business grant, the checks went out or all the applications came in?
No, all the checks went out.
The checks went out except for one.
Correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I think we all saw, or many of us saw Rosa's Pizza, this weekend on social media, and looking for funding to help with their expenses in arrears. And, it just highlights how important the business grant relief is and how important it is for our city to reach out, into to target, to find these businesses and to let them know what resources are available. Interim City Attorney, do you have comments tonight?
I have nothing to report this evening, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Community Development Director Santillan.
Members of the council, it's been a great week and a half for me, and staff has welcomed me very kindly, kind of hit the ground running since I started on the 17th, but we've been pretty busy working, getting a lot of input from staff about the current development process, the experience that our applicants go through when they're submitting applications for permitting or for planning and permitting and inspections as well. So just kind of getting a handle on how the process is playing out, where we can improve, and what's working really well. Working with our code enforcement officers who are doing a great job on staying on top of abatements and complaints. We're working with Caltrans right now to try to schedule a meeting to address some of the encampments along Caltrans right away on 99. And we are hoping to schedule a cleanup along Golden State between Floral and Highland, along the median there in the old, to get that area cleaned up that was previously inhabited by a homeless person. But yeah, just in general, Kira, Lupe, Rod, our contractor, and Juan, just doing a good job of keeping up with the applications, and looking forward to taking on some of the projects like zoning ordinance update and implementing our online permitting software. I think those are very important projects once we have those up and running. So thanks to the city manager, assistant city manager, for introducing me to all our partners in the community. It's been very helpful, and looking forward to working with everyone going forward.
Have you familiarized yourself with the Golden State project?
No, I have not.
That would definitely be something to look into, because it's going to rehab. It's going to take those oleanders out, hopefully, and repave a major section of the road going through Selma.
Definitely.
Thank you. Assistant City Manager and Finance Director, Mr. Moreno.
Thank you, Mayor, Council members. I just want to update you on the process for the user fee study. We are now in the final phases. We're doing final sit-down meetings that have been scheduled to do the final review before we can start consolidating that report and putting it together. So we're hoping to get it close to executed by the time we start our new fiscal year. so it can kind of coincide with our budgets and all that process and how that works. There are finding a lot of room for us to be able to grow our fee schedule, expand it, and get a little more aligned into what we're currently processing. So that is taking effect now. So hopefully we'll be coming back to you soon so that you can have that fee, so we can have open discussion about what that looks like.
Did that meeting on Friday that we had about the Northwest Corridor circulation, did that help your thinking about user fees and impact fees in the future?
It does, in the sense that the user fee was a good start, and then you can kind of tailor back into the impact fees and get that restructured. So it does help us as far as future growth and capital improvements and that planning process. So yes, it does help.
All right, thank you for that.
Also, one more thing. You asked about one of the check numbers earlier today. I did look up that vendor. They're a plumbing service.
Oh, they're a plumber.
Mhm.
Okay, Salbert, that's a plumber.
I'm sorry?
The Salbert?
Yes.
Oh,
that's it.
thank you for that.
Mhm.
Okay, Public Works Director Shane Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. You guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you. First of all, just to reiterate what Mr. Santillan stated, Public Works is bucked up, and we're committed to help out with that cleanup on Golden State, just north of Floral, between Floral and Highland. We had some homeless issues there. The oleanders are overgrown, and we're gonna clean up the trash, and we're gonna get in there. We're gonna hack those oleanders back, just for the meantime. Also, I want to just touch on Leslie Nelson's idea for the pride flags. The 5 locations she's requesting the flags to be hung or installed all have hardware. They both have the banner hardware and regular flag hardware. I fully support her cause and all races, creeds, sexual preferences, nationalities, etc. I support everyone. So I'll be happy to help with that. The decorative lighting downtown, we did another section about a week and a half ago. We had a little hiccup on the project, but we were able to be successful. I want to thank Steve Johnson again and Cal Water for funding that project. Also, I want to thank Mark Alves and Alves Electric. He was out there helping us. Don from Nelson's Hardware. I went in there kind of in a hurry last minute, and Don was able to come through and get us the lights and the materials, et cetera, that we needed for the job. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks for your good work.
Thank you.
Fire Chief Peterson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Just a couple things. We did go online this weekend with our 24-hour ambulance, and so far so good. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be working in conjunction with the Fresno City College Fire Academy and doing our first burn at our training center at the new site. So we're kind of excited to get that thing up and running again and get some training going and get some good burns out of it. We were extremely thrilled to start the vaccination process last week on Friday. Big thank you to United and United Healthcares and their willingness to come and help us out. Another big thank you to all of our city staff. It was a big team effort to get things up and going. And I think they reported they thought they did almost 70 vaccinations of our seniors on Friday. We did unfortunately have to postpone our next one. It's just a week. It'll actually probably work out a little bit better because it'll give us some time to get some more folks signed up. And they did a great job Saturday vaccinating all all those who wanted it, was my understanding. At the school district, I think they had between 400 and 500 vehicles or people come through there. They did a great job of setting it all up and getting them through as efficiently as possible. And we were happy to be able to go out and help them out with that. So looking forward to continuing to work with them and help to get our community vaccinated. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. And with the drought conditions, you think we'll be seeing a pretty robust fire season this year?
There's a good chance. There was already a fire today out on the west side.
Wow.
That they were talking about. So there won't be probably quite as much growth with the lack of rain, but what has grown will unfortunately die off pretty quickly. And yeah, we're kind of anticipating another busy year. So unfortunately.
Thanks for that information. Thanks for everything you do. It was a real thrill having the first pinning ceremony since before COVID tonight.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah,
Great
we
to have
we
them in
definitely
here.
appreciate that opportunity to do that.
Thank you. Police Chief Gomez.
Oh, sure.
Good evening, Mayor and the City Council. Tomorrow, we are going to interview 17 applicants at the Police Academy. I have some vacancies, and we haven't done that since October, so it's a good thing. And some of them are in the academy and some are out of the academy, but we're going to be doing that at the Police Academy tomorrow. The other thing is in line with Mr. Steitz's presentation, and with budget coming up, we're going to be looking at some hybrid vehicles to purchase vehicles every year. But I was at a South County Chief meeting 2 weeks ago, and Sanger PD and Kingsburg PD have purchased some, and they're half the price. The Explorers, that's mostly what we have. They're right around $40,000, and that's without the equipment in them, without the electronics in it, just the straight vehicle. And the hybrids are half that price. So we'll be looking at that. You get them through the San Joaquin Air Control District. I believe there's some type of program with them. So I'll be looking at that, especially with budget coming up here shortly. And that's all I have.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right. Mike Kirschner. Sorry about that. If I would have seen the mic, I would have gotten the mic first.
No problem. Mayor Robertson, member of City Council, I would like to announce that the Parking Lot Movies is coming back on March 12th and 13th. It'll be $30 per car for 40 cars. And there's a little technicality with the agreement with this movie, so we're not allowed to call it the drive-in. That's why you're going to see Parking Lot Movie. And so, but tickets are on sale. And just to follow up, a while back, we discussed the over 2nd Street, the Christmas sign, and also a city sign. So we're getting some concepts together for the Christmas sign and bringing it back to City Council. The chamber did notify me. They do have a donation if the sign says Merry Christmas. So that's going to be brought back in, because currently we've had Happy Holidays. And we're also looking into the permanent sign was brought up by Councilmember Guerra, and looking at a City of Selma, a welcome sign too, year round. So I'm actually looking at a structure for the year round sign. I don't think a temporary kind of like the Happy Holiday sign would be good year round. So I've looked at, Reno has one. I've looked, downtown Fresno has that permanent metal sign. So bringing some concepts back to council for both the City of Selma and Happy Holidays or Merry Christmas wreath.
That'd be fun.
I'm finding they're about 2,500 to anywhere to 18,000. So not as bad as I thought. I thought the Happy Holidays would be a little more expensive. So
can we put that on the website and have the citizens vote on it?
Sure. I'd like to bring to council and get some, maybe narrow down to 3 or 4 different looks and then put those on.
That would be good.
Yeah, we can do that.
We'll definitely bring that back to council before we do that. But
Correct.
it might be
Yeah,
an idea for
putting some
doing that.
PowerPoints, and I did a little survey with city staff and kind of what they felt. So
that sounds good.
Yeah.
And thank you for coordinating the COVID vaccine.
I want to make sure the email, it started with Teresa, send the email out, follow up on this. I think it was City of Fullerton did it. And then our recreation coordinator, Liz Martinez, has a connection with United Health, because they actually were a big sponsor of our senior resource fair. And basically within 5 minutes, the chief's on the phone with Gabrielle from United Health. And so Liz and Chief really did all the legwork and put this together. It's just, it's kind of like a team
do we
effort.
have the date for that, when that's going to be in the time?
Pardon me?
When the first clinic's going to be at the senior center?
The next one will be March 12th from 8 to 12.
Okay.
So you can call 891-2239. You register with Liz. We're doing the paperwork for United Health, because they're doing a really good job. And so we will forward the paperwork to United Health probably by Tuesday or Wednesday. Then United Health the day before will make phone calls to everybody on the list and give them a time to come between 8 and 12. We took about 30 at a time at the senior center. We had the tables out. So it went very smooth Friday. So Friday was our test run, and it went very well.
And conceivably more clinics could be held at the senior center when the tiers change to people in other age groups and other categories, like it's changing to food service now. Yeah.
Potentially, yes, but more than likely, probably United Health. I know United Health has a policy now. I think it's 100 or more before they will go out. Otherwise, they're encouraging you to come in.
Okay.
So, but we're gonna not close any doors on that, but definitely if we can get over 100 and make it effective, yes, we will.
But we'll be having this clinic no matter what, the one that's coming up.
Yes, we
You
will.
just
And
mentioned.
unless
Well,
it's under 100, they would change the site to make the seniors come to their site.
but we need at
But-
least 100 people to sign.
Yeah, I believe we're
seniors
going
to
to hit
sign up
100
for
with
that.
this extra time, as Chief noticed. The advantage of the extra week gives us more time to promote.
Get more people to
Yeah.
sign up.
You know, social media, seniors aren't on social media a lot, so getting the word out takes some time with the
Do
seniors.
they have to be Selma residents
No.
or can they be from anywhere?
We're going to
They
promote
just have to be
around the area
65
too,
or
in
over?
our outskirts. We actually discussed that this morning at our staff meeting,
Okay.
to go beyond Selma to get seniors here.
And then will you cap it at 100 or can it go over 100?
Can go over 100. Minimum's 100.
Okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll move on to council reports. Councilmember Mendoza Navarro.
So I just have a couple things. One is I did attend the ethics training 2 weeks ago. That was very knowledgeable. And so that was one of the things. Also, I wanted to say Happy National Women's Month. And with that, March is National Women's Month, and I'd actually like to suggest a proclamation recognizing National Women's Month at our next council meeting in honor of National Women's Month, especially since this is the first time in Selma City Council's history that we have a woman majority council. And so I thought it would be a good idea to request or suggest a proclamation for National Women's Month. And then the other thing, I just wanted to say thank you to the community. A lot of our constituents and just basically the community in itself. I wanted to thank them for all the words of encouragement and support during the last few months. I'm sure, you know, it's public knowledge that I went through a election recount case and also FPPC complaints that were filed against me. And so I just wanted to say thank you to the community for reminding me that you voted for change, which is why you voted for me. And thank you again for all the support. And thank you for supporting me in my decisions and trusting me to be their voice. And we're always, you know, we're not always going to make everybody happy. And, you know, we have some tough decisions to make. And so, but basically we all have one goal, is to move the city forward as a team and not be divided. And so, you know, again, I'm going to make my decisions based on facts and, you know, whatever the truth will prevail in all of it. And, you know, again, I just want to emphasize that I am 1/5 of this council and we'll work, you know, as a team. I won't let any negativity put me down or scare me or have any tactics, any scare tactics, or, you know, be bullied or anything. If anything, this experience has made me stronger. And it really strengthened my relationship with God, because he is greater than anything. And he goes before me and he knows why he put me on this council, and it was his will and not mine. So I just wanted to again say thank you to the community for all your kind words and your support during these trying times. Thank you.
Councilmember Trujillo.
I just like to, first of all, you know, thank the staff again for all the hard work they've been doing. And Councilwoman Blanca Navarro, congratulations on your recount. And I strongly support you for all the hardships you've been going through. I don't think anybody in this council has ever gone through so much that you've gone through. And I'm going to take a time to just say to you that I encourage you, because everybody in this community should have the right to run for city election. Everybody in this community is watching. Everybody in this community should have the right to run for a city council, a school board, or any post. And I just feel that we as a community need to work together. I think we need to start weighing in on the positive things, using our energy to go to the positive things rather than the negative. And I just ask all of us to start working. Things are, it's over. Let's start working together. Let's start working on the park. Let's start working on a fire station. Let's start working on our downtown. Let's start working to rehab and bring back more business, especially our small businesses, our restaurants that are closed. And I just ask us all to start, move away from what we've been doing for the last 2 months and go back and start working together. Other than that, I thank you guys, and I thank all of you guys for all the hard work you guys all do. That's all.
Councilmember Guerra.
Okay, I would like to say I'm just very proud of being a board member under the United Health Centers and getting all this positive feedback, because they really do a great job. I mean, they're the #1 leaders for the healthcare providers in this whole Central Valley. So I'm really proud of that. The other thing, I just wanted to give some clarification. I did speak to Justin Preyes, who is our deputy CFO, and he mentioned, because I get this question, when we're saying healthcare workers, that's healthcare workers, period, all ages. It doesn't have to be 65 and over, okay? Food, ag, any workers in the food business, like drive-throughs, people that work at Food for Less, that's all ages. It's not just 65 and over. So those are things that he did clear. Packing houses, farm workers, they work at the Central Meat, Valley or Central Valley. They're all eligible. So that doesn't go by age. So if you know anyone, and now that I get some more clarification, the age, hopefully I hope probably another month, it'll be open. So we're still getting clarification on that, because I do get people that ask me, what about us? I'm 50 years old. How come we're still, we're not able to get the shot? And I'm like, well, do you fall in these categories? But school, all staff, bus drivers, it doesn't matter if they're just, a secretary, clerk, they're eligible. Okay. So I just wanted to clear that up. But, and other than that, again, I just want to thank the staff. Our last meeting was phenomenal. I think working together absolutely is what is going to bring our city and move our city forward. Like I mentioned before, we're a new city board. I mean, we're a new city council, new city staff, some of us, I wouldn't say all of us, but some of us. And I think, we have a dynamic group. So I want to thank all of you for all your hard work, because it doesn't make our job any easier, but when we work together, we have a great movement and great meetings. So that's all I'd like to say.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho.
Yes, hi. I'd like to thank the staff also. They helped a lot. But what's been happening is, like, since I deal with the public, they come in and they give me what's needed to be done. So I've been communicating. Thank you, Teresa, our city manager, and she's been, and all the stuff that I've been telling is probably minor, not so much, but at least it needs to be taken care of. So we've been working on that, and she's right on top of it. As soon as I tell her, she's on top of it. Okay, I appreciate you, Teresa. Thank you. I did go see the Selma Cemetery District the other day. Up to today, it's been closed, so you can't even get in there. They were only open certain hours, so you can go put the flowers in and then take the flowers out. But as today, they're going to be open during the work hours. Usually the front gate and the side gate on the right street will be open. They're still in the purple tier, so they basically still have to follow the rules. The burial is 15 people allowed and 15 minutes per burial. And they're not letting anybody walk around, how people get used to exercise and everything on that. So everything is, pretty calm and cool. They're just watching it like it's supposed to, until further changes. And that's what they've been waiting for. Okay. That is about all I did this time. Like I say, I appreciate the people that supported me also on this round. They come in and they give me support, and they say, if we can do anything they say I'll get some cards soon, and they can even email me if there's a problem, if we can solve it without going through, these are minor little things, like potholes here and there. And so that needs to be taken care of either. So that's an easy thing, easy fix for us. And, one step at a time, small project is just as good. So that's what we need to start on. So I welcome all. Thank you.
Thank you. And I appreciate the comments that we all need to work together. Those are words. The way we work together is by working together and not voting against resolutions just because of the person who brought them up. Another cautionary note, the way Bell started was councils meeting in secret and voting themselves money, individuals voting themselves money in secret. And I know none of us want to be like that and go in that direction. That's the danger of not being transparent. The cafe lights, they really look good on 2nd Street. Thank you to Public Works Director Shane Farrell for putting those up. And thank you to Mark Alves for donating his services. Looking forward to those lights going down Tucker Street as well. It's going to provide beautification as well as safety to our city, which reflects Councilman Trujillo's comment about how we want to promote our small businesses and our businesses. That will help our downtown business district. Met with the city manager and my wife Rose. We met with the senior class president and current Raisin Queen Ashley Gill to discuss the senior parade on Selma streets. I met with the Selma Firefighters Association, new president Luis Arana, who was pinned tonight as an engineer, really exciting. And it sounds like he's gonna have a real experience as the FFA president. I don't know if he knows what he got himself into, but he sure takes challenges very well and learns how to deal with them well. So I think he's gonna do really well at that. I'm meeting with the Fresno Mayor, Jerry Dyer. And if any council member has any questions they would like me to ask Mayor Dyer, please feel free to email me individually and I will pass them on and let you know at the next meeting what he says. I zoomed into the Selma Unified School Board meeting as I informed council and invited them on behalf of the city council to that meeting, the group meeting. I did the same with the Selma Healthcare District, which will be putting that on their agenda at their next meeting in late June. I helped a citizen with a billing issue that he was having with SKF. I attended the COG and FCRTA meetings Thursday night, where I first heard about that microgrid concept, which I think is very exciting. I think it's the wave of the future, because I don't know if we can depend on that grid right now, as we all saw in Texas. Gosh, we need to have some sort of reserve for that. And I think that's a good start. Bids for that Golden State job, the Golden State Corridor job, they closed on February 10th. Apparently the job will be awarded here any day now. And construction is slated to start sometime in June on the old 99, that horrible road in front of McDonald's and those huge oleanders. So we're all excited about that. I believe all the council members received an email from the owner of Bloomy's Floral, both owners, complaining about unlicensed street vendors selling their flowers and other items on street corners. Just wanted to make sure that the city manager was aware of that complaint and is following up on that.
Staff has received that, and we are in developing plans to address it.
And you will let the council know when you come up with those plans. Is that correct?
Yeah, in fact, I think, do you want to comment now or at a future one?
And we are going to dedicate some additional resources leading up to Mother's Day to address some of the unlicensed flower vendors and working with Police Chief Gilman.
Such as the code, will they be going out on weekends?
yeah, we're planning on that.
Yeah.
If we can.
Great. I just want to know if, when I discuss it with the owner, if I see her. She works right down the street from me. So I see her all the time. Okay. Code on weekends. Thank you. And then I had a question for Shane Farrell from a citizen. How many times does the street sweeper go out in Selma?
Street sweepers out every day. The route is posted on the city website, Public Works website, and it'll show the dates that it's in different areas. All residential is swept once a month, and commercial is done once a week.
And can they request, make a special request, Shane, if their areas needs it?
I mean, they can, but we try to stick to the route. That way everybody gets the same service, because a lot of times it's all they can do to get through the route. We only have one operator and one machine going. Or back in the good old days, we had two operators, two machines. So the citizens got a better service.
Right.
They can absolutely make a request. And if we can, reply or respond to the request and accommodate, we will.
Thanks for that. And, that's just typical of Shane. He knew right off the bat what I was talking about and had the information right there. And that goes for everybody in our city. I can't say how enough how impressed I am with our city and the services that it gives to the citizens. People, I first got on 8 years ago. I heard a lot that they don't care. When the city doesn't care, it's a blank wall. We can't get through to them. And I'm hearing more and more that the city is being responsive and is more and more responsive. And that's such a really good thing. And I think it makes our job as the citizen representatives, that much easier and more enhanced, that we can be a conduit between the citizens and between the people who run the city, and really appreciate all the efforts and selfless efforts on public safety and parks and rec and our finance and our community development. I mean, you folks go the extra mile, and it's being noticed, and it really is appreciated in the community. With that, we will move on to oral communications. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council regarding any item over which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issues raised will be referred to the city manager for review. Members of the public shall limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Do we have any oral communications at the end of the meeting tonight, City Clerk?
Hi, Mayor Robertson. Yes, we do. I see we have 2 hands raised. I will go with the first hand that was raised. Mrs. Torres, your line is open.
Yes, thank you, Raina. This is Yolanda Torres. I would just kind of like to give some props to Shane. Thank you and your crew so much. You guys did an awesome job with Ringo Park. It's a beautiful park. I live in the neighborhood. I'm able to go and take my goddaughter several times a week and enjoy it. It's so clean. It's so nice. I mean, I want to thank you guys for all your hard work. It's just amazing. And also to Chief Gomez, thank you so much. We've seen a lot of the arrests on social media this past couple weeks. You guys are doing an amazing job. And also, while I'm at the park hanging out with my goddaughter, I feel so safe now. I see the officers driving by and waving, and it's just so nice to be able to go to my neighborhood park and really enjoy it with my goddaughter. So with that said, I just wanted to, just tell you guys are doing a great job, and we really, really, really do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. Do we have any additional comments?
Hi, Ms. Salas, your line is open. As a reminder, please use *6 to unmute your line.
Okay, this is Teresa Salas. The downtown music system was brought up at the last couple council meetings, and the amount that was requested was over $20,000, but we were told it was only part of the total cost, and the total cost was not stated. And I was wondering if you could please share what the total cost for the system will be approximately.
City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. we are currently doing some research to find out what a cost would be. So I don't have a total cost quote at this time. Years ago, there was an estimate in the range of, do you recall? 30? In the range of 30,000. So, but that was several years old. So we are working on getting newer estimates.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any additional comments tonight?
Mayor Robertson, those are all the comments.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we are going to move into closed session, public employment pursuant to Government Code 54957, title City General Counsel. With that, we will recess into closed session. And we can take like a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back.
Mayor and council, thank you very much. I'm going to leave the meeting now.
Okay, thank you, Interim City Attorney. We're going to take a 5-minute